Okay, let's go to this podcast breakdown really quick because there's only 3 main things worth talking about. There's no new DLC characters, there's no new map, there's no new summon, which is of course expected. We got 2 new costumes, a lot of character change, and an update regarding the Steam version, which apply tomorrow, but when I said the update is nothing really new. It's still about the connection problem regarding the long matchmaking queue and the lag, which they already talked about in the last podcast, so this is pretty much just a continuation for that. Like I said before, they try to change how far they can go with how far and how strong their connection can be to connect with each other without any problem. A peer-to-peer system will still be here, because they can't change into the server without changing the game a lot themselves, and server is costly. So yeah, same thing as before, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so next up is a costume, which by the way is still the same price, 1,500 yen and $13. Oh, do I long to see the day this price fall and customer fairness rise. What can I say? I can't recommend you to buy this crap until they lower the price, but if you can't resist the cape and the armor this time, we got the Don Magus cloak, which is a costume in Duodecim, but it's much better here with some horn and Phantom of the Opera looking mask here. Yeah, you mainly buy this one for the cape, and Heretic Warrior costume from Lamsa, the costume from his game. Again, this pack with the costume, weapon, and 4 voice line, which is already in the game on this, and there's also 2 of them together with lower price, which doesn't really make sense for Sedan and Lamsa, isn't it? Well, Kuja get a chap today. And that's all for the costume. Finally, the character change. There's 14 character total that got changed, but that's all the being we need to talk about because this is really goddamn important. So after the summon rework, Alexander takes Shiva's place as the number 1 summon, which not supposed to happen because a summon rework is supposed to fix that problem to begin with. So what makes Alexander so powerful then? Well, aside from his bravery recover buff, which he taking from Shiva, albeit the less powerful version of it, which is a pretty strong buff, but that's not the main reason why he's strong. It's his goddamn finisher attack, a Light of Judgment. This thing is ridiculous. It has the least amount of anticipation time, aka the amount of time the animation shows before the attack happens, and yet it's probably the hardest one to dodge. It depends on situation, but if your teammates are close to each other and you happen to stay in the middle, then there's no way you can dodge that thing. A multiple magic circle will overlay each other to the point where there's no safe space in there, and even if you do find one, it's so small that you can only stand still in there, which enemy can easily push you out for 1 centimeter and you get hit. So finally, after 2 months of judgment hell, he got a nerf that he rightfully deserved. Regarding his buff, his rarely recover speed is still the same, only by their pure number though. By comparison, however, it's much worse, because right now the default recovery speed has been doubled, which means by default Alexander's buff is less affected by before. Go from 300% recovery speed to only 150% recovery speed. There's still some noticeable difference, but it's not by much. But that's only the first nerf, or rather the buff to everyone else. The real Alexander nerf is in his goddamn finisher. The anticipation time has been increased for almost 1 second, the radius of each circle has been decreased, thank god, and the duration of the explosion is shorter. So they pretty much knock it off the park with this change. Alexander will definitely be dethroned. The question is who will be freaking next. At least I hope we don't got like 80% pick rate for 1 summon. So that's all for the summon, let's go to the character. Warrior of Light got some HP attack change, mainly to his bitter end, make it faster but has less range, which make it better for Warrush combo. Emperor Starfall become faster by 10 frame, which is freaking scary, for non-Emperor main at least. If you play Emperor, then it's like ascending to God. On the Knight in On the Knight form got dash speed increase and also shorter startup. This will also apply to Xenos and Cameronard by the way, which I will go to them later for other change, but it's both kinda odd and fitting to have Specialist class have a different dash speed. Anyway, next up, Terra. Her charge back with Aerial, her big fireball, has been widely used lately for really strong crowd control. Hell, this tactic was used in the last tournament, so they nerfed that of course, but it doesn't matter how much they nerf her, she is still going to be competitively viable again. Capcom neutral air, the zigzag for Rocker Ball, can only be placed on the battlefield 1 at a time now, which is a pretty huge nerf because this is his main attack. Cloud got some nerf, but it's only about core breaking capability, whose before was a core buster, and now he's still pretty good at that, but it's not as effective. Aside from that, the cross slash has been changed to make it more punishable. Squall dash attack can be cancelled a lot faster on hit for both guard, step cancel, and dash cancel, which kinda makes sense. This is supposed to be his safest attack option. Sedan backward ground, the tornado thingy, got nerfed in terms of vertical hitbox. Jack got a pretty huge buff to his forward ground and forward aerial, make it have more vertical range and hit faster. His deck block cooldown reduction is even more effective, and his dash attack got the same treatment as forward attack, but got nerfed in terms of cancel time. Next up is Colorable Nut, who got a huge buff again. His elemental buff you get on the final hit of the attack can still be earned even if the enemy is blocking, which is a damn good buff alongside previously mentioned dash speed increase. 1 second HP attack, White Wall, got priority change from HP to Anonymous, which means any projectile can go through this thing now. Goodbye Camping 1. Wayne got a sort of similar change to Jack, make his forward ground, forward air, and backward air, has faster startup overall. Also applied to his dash attack, but only applied to a charge version. Yastora got some change in Thaumaturg mode. Blizzard 2 got speed and tracking decrease, but Blizzard 3 is a lot faster and easier to hit. And though one of her HP attack, React, got a tiny nerf in terms of startup, her form change got a huge buff. Her EX skill cooldown reset is only 10 seconds instead of 25 seconds. This change will definitely encourage players to switch stand a lot more, and that's really cool. Xenos got some small change in Sword the Sword projectile, and of course the previously mentioned dash speed increase, which makes sense. Xenos is a melee focused character. And that's about it. Again, this month doesn't really have anything new, so see you in May for the next update. Until then, I have to deal with my education first. May the light of this crystal guide me through this semester.